Okay, here we are. We have the recipe here for the cake, for the pecan candy cake. And what we have here, we have the sugar, the flour, the milk, the baking powder, the eggs, the butter, flavor, and the chopped pecan that we're going to put in the batter. This requires for a single cake, single batter recipe. So if you want to double it, you can double it with the recipe that I have here. If you want to double it up, it makes one pan. Okay, well I have all this in the bowl right now, so I'm going to cream it together with the butter. Pour the butter in, and I'm gonna mix it up real good. Hold it. Yeah, I'm gonna add my eggs in one at a time to mix it. Add my other egg in. So it's 2 eggs you add in. Okay, and then now I'm gonna add my vanilla, which is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay. 1 teaspoon. 1, 2. Just want to mix it in there. And then I'm going to add my 1 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So 1. One. 1 3/4. Okay. Okay. All right. Put that in there.
I'm thirsty.
And then now I'm going to mix this in. Mix it all in. Scraping the side of the bowls down. And then I'm going to add the milk, which is a 1/2 cup of milk. Just going to pour it in there. 1/2 cup of milk. Stir it up real good. Make sure it's all incorporated in together. And once I have all that mixed up real good, I'm going to add the pecans in. You don't have to add them if you don't want it, but it's a pecan candy cake, so I like to have pecans in my batter. Just scraping the sides down. This is how your batter looks. And then I guess it's like a little handful of pecans. You don't want to put too many because you have pecans on top. It's your choice. And you just mix it up in there. And then it's time for the pan, to get it for the pan. So give me a few minutes. I'm gonna get my pan together. Okay, so now I'm gonna spray my pan You can use the old-fashioned way of doing the flour and the oil, but I use cake spray. Just make sure my pan is coated real good. And then now it's time to pour it into the batter, into the pan. So we're gonna pour it in. It's going into the batter. My oven is already on 350 because I've been baking already, but it's already on 350. And then we put this in the oven for 45 minutes. You can check it, 40 to 45 minutes depending on how your oven bakes, but give or take, it says 35, but I do mine for 40 minutes just to make sure it's still baked all the way through. So now all the batter is in there, scraping it all out. It's in there. This is how your batter looks with the pecans in it. This is, again, a single pan, 9x3 pan. So it's ready to go into the oven. I'm going to walk to the oven in a few minutes. Okay. Now it's set. We'll wait till it's cooked, and then I'll get back with you guys later. Okay, so while this is waiting, we're going to go ahead and start making the pecan candy sauce. And what you do first is you're going to put your butter in. It's a regular stick of butter. I'm going to put that in your pot. And once you put that in your pot, you turn it on. And let it kind of warm up a little bit. And I'm going to get my carnation milk and open the carnation milk up. Okay, so now the butter is in the pot. It's melting. And I have to open my can of carnation milk up. So I'm pouring that in there. Pouring the carnation milk in. And that's all going to cook and get soft. And then I'm going to add my 2 cups of sugar. Okay, here's 1 cup I'm putting in. And then I'm going to get the other cup. Okay, and I'm putting the second cup of sugar in. And that is in there. And you want to make sure you're stirring it because you don't want it to burn. So stirring. Making sure the butter all melts. It's going to start turning a little brown in a little bit. So just keep stirring and stirring and stirring. Just keep stirring. You don't want it to burn, so you got to keep stirring the pot. Making sure it doesn't burn. Okay, and what I have here is the 1 tablespoon of vanilla. We can put all that in right here. Just going to pour it in. And then remember to keep stirring. Make sure it doesn't burn and it's boiling. And we're going to make a soft pecan candy mix, not a hard one. It's for frosting for a cake. And then we can add the pecans in. I just took a cup full and just put it in there and just gonna let it stir. And it cook down till I want it to get that right color brown, and just keep it going. I don't know if you can see it from the steam, but we're gonna keep stirring for about another 15 minutes on this. And now it's coming to a boil. And you want to just keep stirring it and making sure it doesn't burn. It's boiling. Make sure you go around the pot on the edges and also in the middle because it burns in the middle real fast. So you gotta just keep stirring the pot. Still not quite ready yet because it's still kind of loose. Be careful because it does splashes on you. You don't want that burn on you, but I'm used to getting this popping on me. So. And while that's boiling, I'm going to check on the cake in the oven. Looks pretty good. It's going. So there's my other 2 cakes in there, but this is looking pretty good. So we're on the right thing. We're doing the right thing. So we're going to get it together. Okay, and as of right now, it's right where I want it to be. So now I'm going to just turn the fire off. And then I'm going to remove it off the burner so it doesn't burn. So I'm going to put it back. And then we're going to let it just sit for a while, but still keep stirring it because it's still cooking, so you gotta just keep on stirring that pot to make sure it doesn't burn, and just keep stirring. That's how I want it to be at that level, at that type of frosting. I'm making the soft candy, remember, not the hard candy. But for the hard candy, you can go ahead a little bit longer and let it cook down for another 10 more minutes. But this is the soft candy, so I cut it off the fire, and I have it sit back, and I'm letting it cool off. So when the cake comes out of the oven, we just put the cake into the freezer for about 10-15 minutes, and then we can pour that frosting on top of that, or spread it on top of that. So y'all hang tight. Alright, so now it's time to take the cake out the oven. Let's check it out and see what it looks like. And how we check it, we're going to insert a toothpick inside of it to make sure it's done. Here we have a spaghetti noodle. Just poke it in the inside of it. And it comes out pretty much clean. As you can see, nothing is on it, no batter, so we're good. And we just let it sit for about another 10 minutes, let it cool down. Or if you want to rush it and put it in the freezer, you can. So here we wait till the cakes cool down, and we're almost done. Okay, so now it's time to put the frosting on the cake. It's still like I want it, soft praline. And here's the cake that come out of the pan, so I just flipped it over and put it on the cake board, as you see, a cake board. And so now it's time to put the frosting on, so that we just take a spoon of it and you just put it on top of the cake, and it's gonna start falling down the sides, whatever you want it to do. You can work away the sides first. Sorry, I'm moving the phone too much. I'm videoing and trying to put frosting on at the same time. But and if you wanted to bake 2 cakes, you could have made 2. Double the batter up, or make it 1 by 1 like we did the first, to make a top layer to cover it up. But this is a single cake batter. So this was a 9 by 3 pan, and there it is. The cake is covered with frosting, pecan candy frosting. You can let it drip down to the side, however you want to do it. Just keep putting it on till it fills around the whole cake. Let it fall off. It doesn't matter. It's going to get 8. And we're almost done with it, putting it on there. So there it is. Put a little more on this side so it can just drip. And there's the pecan candy cake. A 9 by 3 round pecan candy cake. And that is the finished product of everything. I had to pause the video in between, so it took a little while, so about an hour, over an hour it took. So, and that's the finished product, the praline or pecan candy cake, as people know. And it's just dripping off, and then you can eat it. We can cut it, and we'll see what it's all about. And there it is. It's been cut. Pecan candy on top. There it is. Cake itself. And it is finished.